Hello twin flames, welcome to my channel and welcome to your daily energy check. I have an assistant today. His name is Apollo. I don't know whether he's gonna stick around, but he is gonna be around in the area. So without further ado, let's get started with our reading. Today I'm gonna do a classic twin flame read because I haven't done one of those for a very long time. You know that I've been doing my December reads, which are all on the channel right now. I've done the 12/12 portal read. I've been doing dailies as well, but this is a little different, so let's check what the energy is at the moment and what are we supposed to make out of it. So I will start with a quick oracle message from the Angels and Ancestors deck for each of the twins, and then we'll go into the usual what are the energies, what else are we supposed to know about the journey, and lastly, how are the twins feeling towards each other right now and towards the connection in general. All right, so for those who are new, welcome. I do have a lot of information about my content and services in the description box, so you're welcome to check it out. And of course, you can ask me any questions either in the comments, and you can email me as well. With all that said, let's get started, and please don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. So, Divine Feminines, to start us off, you've got a message from the High Priest: intend and create. So this is an equivalent of the Hierophant card in the tarot deck, and essentially more than anything it is about that spiritual action. So this is that part where we say manifestation is not just about coming up with intention, with goals, with vision. It's also about taking aligned action, and it doesn't have to be very much like thought through to the detail, to the perfection. It doesn't have to be you don't have to know what's going to be happening at the last step, right? As long as you have a few steps ahead of you, that's good enough. This is that intuitive action that you can take and that will do you well, because as you proceed, more steps will be shown to you, right? That's that High Priest attitude and knowing and even faith to a certain degree. Masculines got a message from the Peacekeeper. Very interesting, right? So for the feminines today, we saw quite a masculine vibe, masculine energy. For the masculines, we see a Peacekeeper message. A harmonious resolution is possible. So for you masculines, the challenge is to embrace your feminine energy today and be in a more compassionate energy, in a more nurturing state of mind, right? Even if it feels like there is some kind of a competition, that there is some kind of a fight for whatever it is, right? And masculines can be very driven that way. Right now it's important to realize that that may not be the best answer, and it's actually possible to reach peaceful resolution. Even if it looks like a stalemate on the surface, there's something deeper here, and you're invited to look into that depth. All right, with all that said, let's proceed with our main reading. I'm going to be using the Tarot of Mystical Moments, and then for the clarifiers, I picked the Solomon deck for us today. We are fast approaching the holidays. I hope you guys are ready, whatever that means to you, wherever you are, whatever holidays you celebrate. By the way, we have Hanukkah in progress already as I'm recording this, so happy Hanukkah to those who celebrate it. And of course, there are so many more holidays that people of different cultures and religions celebrate during this time, so happy holidays, guys. All right, it jumped out, had to be taken. I'll proceed with the spread and then I'll speak on it. But the first card was Two of Cups. Just saying, just a little preview. All right. Bottom of the deck, the Sun. How about that for a preview? I think we've been waiting for this for a while, actually, for the sunny disposition to be in the connection. To be able to see this kind of hope, this kind of good feeling, right? You know, like this journey can actually be so much fun. It can bring so much light, so much strength and so much joy into our life, right? It doesn't have to be hard. It's really your choice. Like even with this bird, like the first when we look at this image, it may seem like, I mean, it's almost like the bird is attacking the girl, right? So what's going on there? But you know, poor girl trying to get it off. But maybe it's not like that. Maybe the girl is actually the one who's making this decision and like holding the bird over there, because for some reason that seems more familiar and what she's used to. Who knows, right? All right, let's get some clarifiers. Bottom of the deck, 2 of Wands. Yeah, we're making choices in this season, especially, I don't know about like all cultures of the world, but at least in the Western Hemisphere, I meant in the Western world, it's customary to do year summaries, to basically come up with some kind of a, I don't know if it's a list necessarily, but a kind of a vision, like what has this year been like? And as much as I don't like to just go with the mass societal trends, this one can actually have so much meaning in it, especially if you do it in a conscious, in a very aware way. And there are, by the way, so many ways to do it. You can add so much more creativity to it than what like usual, rather than just usual putting together the list. Like this is the summary. And you know what's interesting that I've noticed, the more I've been doing it in the last few years, I've been doing it because I was doing it for myself. I wasn't doing it to share. I would share in stories sometimes. I did a couple of posts actually where it felt very deep. But for the most part, I'm doing this for myself. And the more I'm kind of like diving into it with that attitude, the brighter the colors are. And I'm noticing things that may not be that obvious as something to share as an achievement, as something important that happened to me this year, but it is. Like I remember a couple of years ago, I mentioned that I've improved my relationship with my hair, for example. And it's like, really? Like that's a thing? What does it even mean? For me, it meant a whole lot of things, and I don't want to spend too much time on it, but until that time, I really felt very much disconnected with my hair. You know, there was a storyline from very early childhood that, you know, my hair wasn't good, my hair was too, I don't know, too thin, too fine, too brittle, and put like my biggest part of my childhood, I always had like these bob hairstyles because my mom would make me get that. I never wanted them, but she would just decide for me that because my hair was da 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 da, not good enough, then this is my verdict. Like this is what works. And I never had a choice of what I wanted to do with my hair until I actually graduated high school and moved away from home. And then, of course, it changed, but it still took so much longer to change the deepest story of, you know, what does it mean? What does my hair mean to me, right? And what does that storyline mean? And to change it around, of course, that included taking a much better care of my hair, right? And look at that. I've never had the hair this long. Like sometimes I get questions from people of like, is it hard to take care of it? I mean, I guess it is to a certain degree, especially if you don't have a habit of it. But it's also such an interesting new experience to have very long hair, to be able to do all these different hairstyles, to essentially change your look and your identity in a way too, in that way, right? And so that was a big result for me in 2023, right? So why not, you know, do it your way. And that is getting to be a long reading. So I'm sorry guys, I'm gonna jump straight in. So for the feminines, I already gave you a little bit of a preview. We have 2 of Cups clarified by 4 of Pentacles. Very good start. There's definitely a soulmate connection here. It could be romantic, could be with your twin, could be with a twin, but in a friendship capacity, right? But it is something beautiful, especially as we're approaching holidays. People are meeting up, they're doing something fun together, right? Like some kind of gathering I'm sensing here. But there's also some fear of like, how much can I really trust this energy, especially if we haven't been that close, right? Or maybe the last conversation we had was quite the challenging one, right? And now this person is asking me to join for this festivity, you know, for some kind of Christmas party, let's call it that way. What does it even mean, right? And like, how much can I really open up after everything that happened? So there are some reservations here. So be careful, look at that, and decide for yourself, of course, depending on how you feel about it. Remember that high priest energy too. You don't need to know all the answers up front, and you probably won't. Even if you think that you know, the universe shows us over and over again that we don't. So what I would recommend here is start with opening the door, right? And see what feels comfortable for you. If it doesn't feel comfortable at all, maybe don't do it, or at least look into it, right? Sit with it, see why is it not comfortable. Maybe you need a conversation with this person before you're ready to accept the invitation, so it's genuine, you know, so you're not just pretending like you're having a good time at that event, but it's actually coming from an authentic place where you can feel free and you can have that fun. Wow, masculines, you've got Eight of Pentacles clarified by the Hierophant. And this is really, this combination is pretty much a representation of that High Priest card we had for the feminines. That's why I said wow. Because we have the Hierophant, who is essentially a High Priest, and we have Eight of Pentacles, which is about taking action. And that's what I was just talking about, was that message for the feminine. But I love this Eight of Pentacles in this particular deck because it's very much about your creative expression, right? Because that's also action. Because when we are thinking action, or I need to take an aligned action, we become serious, right? It's like it has to be with a lot of value, you know, it has to be following some kind of best practices, or what I heard in that masterclass from that subject matter expert. But really, it doesn't have to be that way. Giving yourself time to breathe, to maybe brainstorm or to explore in the area that you're interested in, that's already an action. Sometimes drawing a picture or going dancing is taking an action, because it gets you into that state of creativity, of high vibrational energy that immediately takes you to the next level, right? Where it can open up that innovative possibility and that inspiration to take action in the area where you're setting your goals, plans, etc. Right? And that's where you can find the peaceful resolution, by the way, speaking of the card that we saw for the masculine specifically. Additional question for today. Oh my god, we got another sun card. It's officially double sun. Three of Wands and clarified by the sun. Right? So it's like, what are we looking forward to in the upcoming future? I'm almost tempted to say in the next year for this journey. Like, what are we looking forward to? What can we look forward to as this unfolds for us? For the feminines, Seven of Swords clarified by Ten of Swords. Yeah, I mean, on the surface, not the cards that you want to see when you ask that kind of question. But you know what? We can also see that the pain is stepping away, right? Because you can see the illusion. You can see more clarity of like what really happened, or what was the reason, or why those experiences that brought you a lot of pain were actually unavoidable. They were the way to get you to where you're supposed to be. There was no other way, right? Or maybe it would take so much longer and the universe needed you to accelerate so you can get to your dream come true much sooner, right? So that clarity, that knowledge is actually alleviating a lot of the pain and continued self-sabotage, which of course is not something that we want to see in any area of our life. For the masculines, we see Page of Cups clarified by Six of Wands. Yeah, this is more like it, right? So masculines continue exploring, what does romance really mean? How do you share your feelings in a way that the feminine would understand, that would appreciate, right? I'm actually myself, as I'm talking to more people, and of course I'm also watching movies, I'm talking to clients, and I'm talking to just, you know, people that I meet in life, sometimes very briefly. And the more I look into it, the more I see this, there's still this big disconnect between what between how we see relationship and what does it mean to be there for each other and to create connection on the masculine versus on the feminine side. Apologize for the noises that the dog is making. Hey buddy, you okay? I'm still busy. All right, so it is like almost like looking at the situation with new eyes, with fresh eyes. And I feel like that peacekeeper energy and those moments, those experiences when masculines are diving into more feminine energies where they can relate to it more. What does emotional intimacy mean? And it's not like, okay, I'm gonna find out what they want me to do so I can do that. That's manipulative behavior. This is more like, oh, I get it now. Not just because, it's important for them and I want to make them happy, but because it's now important for me. Big difference. All right, lots of breakthroughs here. So how the feminine see in the connection at this time? Queen of Swords clarified by Four of Wands, but you see the Queen of Swords actually looking into a very different direction. I feel though that there is a certain peace of mind of like, okay, union, yes, we actually say in the twin flame circles, union is already here, right? You just don't see it in 5D, you're already together, or union is granted, right? And feminine's like, yeah, I know that. And this is fine. Now they don't worry about it coming together. No matter what is happening on the surface, in 3D world, it's like, we are good, we are fine, I don't have to worry about it. There's something more strategic, more tactical actually, that the feminines are looking at. Something that they need to set up in their life that doesn't necessarily concern masculines directly, but something that they feel is important as they're laying that foundation, as they're preparing for union. So they still see it all as part of one big picture. There's no inconsistency there. But it's like, okay, I got you. I know we're good, even if we're in separation, even if you are with someone else right now. But I need to do this for myself, or this is going to be important for us to be able to have this life together. And for masculines, the way they see the connection, Two of Pentacles clarified by Nine of Swords. It's interesting. I noticed actually that in this, it's like a hot air balloon, but it actually has like a building with windows in it, if you notice. It's almost like she's sitting on a building. And there is a building and a girl here. They're both wearing blue. So it immediately drew my attention that this almost like pieces of the same story. But I feel like masculines, like they are in the same energy, in the same reality, which kind of makes sense, right? Both in 5D and 3D, but they're treating it very differently. And where feminines have set their priorities straight, the masculines are struggling to understand, how do I do both? How do I continue working on my career and build a relationship with someone? Or how do I continue making good money, but also set aside enough time for my family or for what I want to do with the feminine as part of our mission and purpose, or something like that, right? Like there's so much, and there's also like relatives that, I understand that for me, for my feminine, they're, we don't want that kind of energy around us, but I also can't give up on them completely, right? Like all these different things that they need to choose between, and it gives them anxiety. It feels like an insurmountable mountain really to climb, right? It's like they don't have a clarity of how to do this, right? And that to a certain degree causes analysis paralysis for the masculines, including this connection, because they're like, so I can't give up on my relatives that the feminine will not want to have around, right? And I don't want to make her or them unhappy, right? But also I'm still not ready to say goodbye to my relatives, and I don't know what's a good resolution here, right? So it's like work in progress, right? That's why we have the Lammas Gate sign in the Two of Pentacles always, right? So it's like this, like kind of like circling around. The energy is going and we're trying to make something out of it. Okay. I am gonna leave it here. Thank you so much for joining me today, guys. Sorry for a long video, but I haven't talked to you in a while. I'll be back with the full moon, the winter solstice, and more videos soon. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Love you all. Don't forget to subscribe to like the video and subscribe to my channel. And until next time, bye.